Welcome again to the Old Principle. 我就是老校长 and we have an English instructional program. It actually designed, at least the way I originally thought it, is to help us with our listening ability. As one of the struggles that many people have is listening to English. So, we have a new lesson. This will be lesson number 280. Married in Pain. This is the actual picture from the top of Mary's Peak. This is a real picture. I've been up there many times and looked down there. If you look way down here, I live right there. Well, I'm not sure that you can see it very well. I can't either. But I'm going to tell the story of getting married, and I was in pain. 我疼痛的时候结婚了. Excuse me? Most people are very happy. Well, I was happy, but I was also in pain. And I'll tell you about that. But first, listen to the story as Connie reads it, and then I'll be back to share more of the story.
Story 280. Married in Pain. In those days, the typical church wedding began with all the participants marching up to the platform. The last to march in were the bride and her father. Since my bride was a musician, she chose not to use the typical wedding march music. As she and her dad walked in, everyone in the church stood. About 300 people came to the wedding. The service itself was rather traditional, except there was a lot more special music than usual. I do not remember much about the service, probably because I was nervous. I guess it was okay to be nervous. This usually happens only once in a lifetime. I do remember one thing. During the whole service, I was in pain. And it wasn't because I was about to lose my freedom. The day before the wedding, my best friend and I decided to climb Mary's Peak, a nearby mountain. Dad had told about a trail that climbed up the northern side of the peak. Somehow my dad had failed to tell us how long a hike would take. I got the mistaken impression that the trail was not too long. Several hours went by. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, we climbed faster. Finally, we were forced to give up. But now we had a problem. We were a number of miles up the trail, and it was getting dark. We were obliged to run all the way down the mountain. I had no desire to get caught on the mountain in the dark. The next morning, the day of my wedding, I woke up with sore muscles all over my body. At one point in the wedding, Connie and I were to kneel down while the minister offered a prayer for us. It was with great difficulty that I knelt there. My sore muscles made that part of the service very painful.
Welcome back. We are ready to go. In those days, this is a long time ago. Remember, if you remember the last lessons, I mentioned the fact that we were married in 1965. That's a long time ago. Okay, so in those days, the typical, okay, 典型的这个 church wedding 就是在教堂举行婚礼的时候 began with the participants marching up to the platform. So those who participated, like the 伴娘、伴郎等等等等 all of these people, we would all walk up, march up. They say march because when you say march, there is music going on. So you keep cadence. You walk just the same speed as the music, supposedly. Women are better at that. Men are not so good at that. Oh, okay. Now, the last person to march up was the bride and her father. Okay, the last to march up were the bride and her father. This is 新娘和她的爸爸. They're the last ones to march up. And then after they march up, in fact, when they come in, when they march in, everybody stands up and turns to the center to watch her and her father come in. Going on, since my bride was a musician, 她是音乐家, okay, she chose not the typical wedding march music. Da 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 da. I think I will not go into the music business. But this was the typical lines. Da 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 da. And all weddings, well, no, I won't say all weddings. A lot of weddings use that song. It's a very typical 音乐, music. But because she is a musician, she said, I'm going to do it different. She chose not the typical, 不是典型的一般的 wedding march music. 她选的音乐是不一样 going on. And she and her dad walked in. Everybody in the church, like I said, they stood up. Now remember, she is the first. There are 6 children in the family, 6. And she is the first one to get married. There's 6 children and she is number 1. So, and also her father was well known in the community. So it was an exciting day for sure. As she and her dad walked in, 当他们走进来的时候, everybody in the church stood. Going on. About 300 people came to the wedding. That wasn't a big wedding. It wasn't a small wedding. So 300, not bad, not bad. The service itself, that is the 婚礼, okay, itself was rather traditional. Traditional is 传统性的. Okay, it was traditional. There are certain things that generally, usually happen during these, except there was a lot more special music than usual. Now, a traditional wedding, 这个传统的这个婚礼 has a lot of music, 很多音乐. Well, I won't say a lot of music. It has some music. But our wedding had a lot of music. Why? Because she was a musician, so she wanted different people to do different things. It was, well, it was an opportunity to share good music with everybody who came. B.E. Banda, more than usual. B.E. Banda, 还要多了. Going on. I do not remember much about the service, probably because I was nervous. That makes sense. You know, how many times in a lifetime do you get married? Well, traditionally, once. Now, maybe your wife dies, maybe you're divorced, 离婚, and then you get married again. Nowadays, unfortunately, that happens a lot. I do not think that's a good idea. I believe that when you get married one time and it's 一辈子, for your lifetime. But there are many issues involved, and sometimes people are married more than once. Okay? But no matter what, I think that most people, when they go to their own wedding, are very 紧张. They are very nervous. In fact, I was probably so nervous that I don't remember anything else. Probably my wife too. Because you say, well, do I say the right thing at the right time? And it's like, yeah. And these are all things that you're thinking about, so you don't remember very well. Going on. I guess it was okay to be nervous. This usually happens only once in a lifetime, 一辈子. So, 一次, well, usually. And so, be nervous, enjoy your nervousness. Okay? Going on. I do remember one thing. During the whole service, I was in pain. Now we come, because I remember at the beginning of the program, the title says, Married in Pain. 疼痛的时候结婚了. So I'm going to tell the story of how I got married in pain. I do remember one thing during the whole service, 整个婚礼中啊, okay, with the wedding service, I was in pain. And it wasn't because I was about to lose my freedom. Well, sometimes people say, oh, I'm going to lose my freedom. 我会失去我的自由. Of course, when you marry a wife and when you marry a husband, you give up absolute independence and freedom. You now are two people. But it was not because I was getting married and losing my freedom that I was in pain. The day before the wedding, my best friend and I decided to climb Mary's Peak, a nearby mountain. Okay? Shan Mountain. The title was Mary's Peak. 马丽峰. Okay? Nearby. Okay? And it was nearby, well, I say nearby. It wasn't too far away from my house. Now, let's go back there for a second. This was the day before the wedding. My friend and I decided to climb the mountain. And, this is the day before, and we said, oh, cool. Let's do something interesting. Going on. Dad had told about a trail that climbed up the northern side of the peak. Now, my father loved the woods. 他很喜欢树林。And so he spent a lot of time hiking, and he was an outdoorsman. 他特别喜欢out in the woods, 生活在树林等等的。So he told me, maybe as a young man, he told me he had climbed the trail. 有一个小路 that climbed up the northern side. 这个马里峰的北边 there was this little tiny trail that went up, 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 up. And of course, my thinking was, oh, cool. I think maybe we ought to do it. My dad had said so. So I said, let's try it. Going on. Somehow, 不晓得是怎么搞的, my dad failed to tell us. 他忘记告诉我们. To fail to tell us means 他忘记告诉我们. Okay, how long the hike would take. Somehow in my mind, I got the mistaken, 我是有一点误会，有一点误解. I got the mistaken impression that the trail was not too long. And so we started climbing. Several hours went by. This is the day before the wedding. And here we are climbing this mountain. Up, up, up. Several hours. And I didn't see the top. I just didn't see the top. We didn't see the top, my friend and I, going on. As the sun began to dip lower, 太阳开始下来, dip lower. Dip lower means to come down in the sky, 在天空, okay, coming down. We climbed faster, faster, faster. Better hurry up. We don't have too much time. Better hurry up. Finally, we were forced to give up. Now we had a problem. Finally, 最后我们被强迫这个不得不放弃我们的计划。Okay, we were forced, 不得不放弃. So this now created, where are we? We're high on the mountain. Now we had a problem. 还有另外一个问题 going on. We were a number of miles up the trail and it was getting dark. Okay, now we were a number of miles. 几英里, 好几英里, well, 可能5、6英里 up the trail, 已经爬上这个小路5、6英里. We were 5 or 6 miles up the trail, and now we are turning around. 已经掉头, we're going to come down, but it was starting to get dark. 开始天黑了. Maybe you could say it was already dusk. 黄昏的时候. And so we had to start running. In fact, going on, we were obliged, 不得不跑. We had to run. Another way of saying obliged, 非跑不可. I mean, we were obliged. This is a nice word, isn't it? We had to start running all the way down the mountain. Now, the good news is that running down the mountain is better than running up the mountain, right? But the bad news is you're running and you don't usually run. I was not used to running, and my friend was not used to running. 我们没有习惯跑步。So here we are, we're running down the mountain, 下山. I had no desire to be caught on the mountain in the dark. 根本不想再卡在山上，而天已经黑了。I just was no interest in that happening. Going on. The next morning, the day of the wedding, I woke up with sore muscles all over my body. Now, why does that happen? Because you are not used to 你不习惯运动. So the next day, I woke up and I had sore muscles, 酸痛的这个肌肉 all over my body, 全身就是这样. I had very sore muscles. At one point in the wedding, Connie and I were to kneel down. Now, remember that here we are, the day before, we tried to walk up the trail. We have to run down the trail. Okay, so I walk up and I can walk slow, okay, but everything kind of hurts. 差不多了，这就很痛，很痛苦。At one point in the wedding, 在婚礼当中啊 Connie and I were to kneel down while the minister offered a prayer for us. The two of us had to kneel down, 跪在那个地方, and the minister, that is the officiating minister, he is supposed to say a prayer for us. 他是为我们做一个祷告. So he's going to pray for us. The wedding is basically finished. Now we're going to have the final prayer of blessing. We will be asking God to bless the wedding. But, going on, it was with great difficulty that I knelt there. My sore muscles made that part of the service very painful. It was with great difficulty. 好不容易 with great difficulty, 好不容易 很困难的 I knelt there. To kneel is 跪下来. The past tense of to kneel is knelt. I'm sure my girlfriend, or now my wife, at this point we're married, okay? Say, I am sure that her thoughts were something else. I was thinking about how difficult it is to kneel when you're sore all over your body. But my sore muscles, 酸痛的肌肉, made that part of the service 使那部分这个婚礼那部分 very, very painful. Now, let's just take a moment here and recall some parts of the story that I didn't have time to say. This is summertime. The absolutely delightful, beautiful weather. And so the day before, we were excited. When you are going to get married, you are excited. Always. Well, 99% of the time, they're excited. So that's the reason why we went up there. Actually, my uncle, 我的叔叔, he lived, and my aunt, they lived very close to the beginning of the trail. 那个小路的这个头啊，就是在离他们的家很近。So we went to visit my uncle and my aunt. And I asked them where it was. And then we walked up the mountain. I can tell you, from that time until this time, I have never gone up the North Trail of Mary's Peak. I've never done it. My father says it's possible. My uncle said it was possible. But I never did. I tried. I don't know how close I came to the top either. I have no idea. But this is an experience. One day, a friend of mine came to my mother's house. This is many, many years later. My mother was an old lady. And a friend of mine came and says, "Oh, I wish I had a safai, a sofa like you." And my friend said something I'll never forget. He says, "I collect experiences. 我收集经验. I do not collect 东西." Okay, no more time for philosophizing. We do have an email address. It is theoldprinciple@gmail.com. We do have a website. 我们的网站是www.theoldprinciple.org. It's been great spending this time with you. Could say a lot more, but we've run out of time. But you can join me next time with a friend. See you then.